Strong relationships aren't accidental. They are the result of effort and intentionality.
Join us today on Real Family Talk as we discuss ways to overcome relationship issues and build a strong foundation. Welcome to Real Family Talk. In today's episode, we're focusing on relationship impasses and ways to prevent and overcome them.
We are joined by Dr. César and Carolann de León, directors of the Family Ministries Department for the North American Division of Seventh-day Adventists, and authors of the new book, Overcoming Adversity and Building Healthy Relationships. Thank you both for being with us today.
Thank you.
Thanks for inviting us. It's fun to be back.
So we're talking about relationship impasses, a topic that you deal with in your book. Can you define what relationship impasses are?
An impasse in a relationship is a state of deadlock where basically a couple is unable to move forward on an issue where they don't agree or an issue where they disagree. So they find themselves not being able to progress, to take steps forward to a resolution. And they just stop, and they basically sometimes even stop talking to each other because they disagree so much and so strongly that they decide, let's not talk about the issue or let's not talk at all. Period.
It sounds it sounds like failing a grade over and over and not being able to move on to the
There
next
you
grade.
go. And Willie, we were number one failures.
Wow. Wow. So what are some of the characteristics of an impasse? Because, I mean, you could fight over toilet paper,
There you go.
which way it goes. I mean, are we talking about serious, big issues or little issues or all of the above?
Good question. I'm sure it's different for every couple. For us, we had major, serious relationship impasses. One of them was the fact that I did not know that I was ADHD inattentive. Back then, it was a while back ago, it was referred to as ADD, no hyperactivity. And I had no idea. So I was doing all of these, I was being me is what I was doing, right? Arriving late to set appointments, losing receipts, forgetting to write amounts in the checkbook. Can you have it? Your list is probably longer than mine. I was doing all kinds of crazy things that were very normal for me, things I had done all my single adult life that my husband couldn't understand, would frustrate him. Sadly, he began to interpret everything I did as this woman does not love me.
So doing it to him.
Like you're doing
I was
it to
doing
him.
it on purpose
Right.
to him to drive him insane.
Right.
So impasses become impasses because usually an impasse is loaded with your emotional makeup. You place your emotions onto the event. And when your emotions play a very active role into the event, you either resolve the event or you heal your emotions. Well, it's easier to resolve the event.
Yeah.
Right.
It's easy to convince Carolann, control Carolann, make her do something
At
differently.
least try to.
It's easier for her to be a different person than for me to look
Easy peasy.
deep inside and see what's about me that is really irritating me and is causing me to reject Carolann or not accept her the way she was.
is.
And then in this case, that the case that we are describing with the ADHD, there were a lot of issues, personal issues that I was carrying into that issue. So she made me go through a lot of, no, she didn't make me. The situation made me,
Triggered.
forced me, triggered the triggers of things that I didn't even know I was carrying in my life.
So so an impasse is a moment of stuckness.
Right.
Where you have tried this, you have tried that. I tried praying that God would change him so he wouldn't get so angry with me 1,001 times a day. Not for
And I
one.
was changing I was praying that God would change her brain and her mind. So we both, it's funny, we were both praying to the same God for two different outcomes.
Right, right.
That were opposite.
Right. And that happens often, again,
yeah.
with couples that they marry people with very different personalities.
Yes.
And then we get into marriage and we try to change the person into ourselves.
We become professors, teachers, we become trainers, we become whatever we need to
Coaches.
become,
Coaches.
coaches.
Yeah.
But I'm going to make you do things right. That was my point.
Yeah.
I'm going to make you do things right.
And when you go to God, you're really saying, change her, change him. If he could only change, we could have a great marriage.
Yes.
If she could only change,
Yes, we
we
were
could
stuck.
have a great marriage.
We were stuck there
Yes.
for way too long.
Yes, and so many marriages that are watching right now are going through
'cause
that same reality.
Yeah, and
If she
that's-
could only change.
Yes.
That's so major because you're basically talking about a lobotomy.
Yes, that's
like,
right.
you're talking about a complete change of the other person,
That's
which is not
right.
possible.
Never happened.
That's right.
And how many couples find themselves in this situation?
More than we can imagine. So the more we've been traveling around, we've been bumping into, as we share our stories, right, when we do our seminars, and we have had more and more couples come and say, oh my, you just described us, and we had no idea, what was going on. And so we're finding that the whole neurodiversity movement, if you will, is a real thing. And I think it's important that we become educated and that we understand, and I'll bring up the H word again, the humility to understand not all brains function like my brain.
Yeah.
And that's so hard for us.
Can you say just a little bit more about neurodiversity and do some description so that people who may not be familiar with that terminology can in fact grasp?
Yeah.
We're talking about being on the spectrum.
Yes, we
for
were
some
talking
people.
exactly. We're
Or
talking about
ADHD.
We're talking about
Yes.
ADHD. We're talking about autism and all the the different spectrums there. We're talking about dyslexia. We're talking about all of our learning disabilities actually. So it's a different way that our brains, often due to trauma, often due to high levels of stress, when our brains were developing as children. So I've learned through the years that my brain was affected by all of the discord in my family, and that our discord in our marriage affected the brain development of our two beloved now adult sons. So we passed it forward.
Right. And César, you were going to add to that.
I was going to say that the neurodivergent will manifest itself in every area of functioning.
Yes, it does.
Right? The way you talk, the way you behave, the way you see life,
Yeah,
perspectives,
perspectives,
the way
yes.
you listen,
Yes.
the way you take some inputs from the outside
You
world.
intake.
Everything is being basically affected
Yeah.
by the ability or not ability that your mind has
Or the
received,
diverse
or the
way.
diversity, or
Right.
the diverse way
Yeah.
that your mind is going to react to real life events, and that can cause a lot of problems for a lot of people. And it's causing a lot of problems for a lot of people because people don't understand why is it that my wife or my husband, my partner, my other meaningful other,
other, yeah.
cannot listen to me or honor my
Right.
requests or my petitions. So if I feel dishonored, or that may mean that I am not being loved.
That's right.
the way I experience
Right.
in my marital life.
We're going to come back to that. We have to take a break, but when we return, we'll continue talking with the De Leons. Stay with us. Today on Real Family Talk, we are talking about overcoming relationship impasses with Dr. César and Carolann de León.
Okay, César and Carolann, in your book that we've referenced several times, there it is, Overcoming Adversity and Building Healthy Relationships, you speak about the issue of relationship impasses. To the people who are listening, what is perhaps the first step to take to begin to walk out of that circumstance, of that reality?
I'm going to mention the H word once again.
Okay?
It takes humility to realize when you need help.
Yes.
And so, because by the time we went to our therapist, the particular therapist who helped diagnose my ADHD, we were already therapists, so there was part of me that said, we know all of the diagnoses, we knew what names to call each other, but we were still stuck, very much stuck. And so we needed to go get professional help. And I think that sometimes for us Christians it's a little hard because we try the praying, we try the fasting, we try all kinds of spiritual practices, if you will, but God has left really a lot of wisdom. And we do recommend a Christian marriage and family therapist as opposed to just willy-nilly anyone. And so we sought one, not knowing. My husband had told me, I think you're narcissistic like someone in your family. and in my heart I'm thinking, no, I grew up in a narcissistic family, if you will. And I knew what that was, and I knew that wasn't what I was. But I was very happy to go to therapy with you, that particular
But that's to the
opportunity.
extremes. What would people do with regular impasses? Do they need to go to psychotherapy to resolve their impasses?
I'm thinking that not every couple would need to. So we were already in it so deep and for so long. So that's a good clarification.
So let me say maybe 2-3 points. Number one, objectivity doesn't exist in a marital relationship.
There you go.
Hello.
Because in marriage, you either are right or you are married.
Yes.
You cannot do both.
Yeah.
By the way, there is an author that says that there are 5 losing battles that most marriages fight. Number one, trying to make my wife understand that I am right. Number 2, trying to control my wife. Number 3, not controlling my self-expression, or unbridled self-expression. Number 3 is by taking revenge against my wife. And number 5 is withdrawing. So you need to be careful, because if you don't understand that you cannot be right all the time. If you don't understand that being right is not the important thing in marriage,
That's
it's
right.
solving the issues is what is important. So when the question is asked, who's right, the better answer is, who cares?
Yeah.
Because that's
Right.
not the proper answer.
You're both right.
Yeah, and you're both
You're
wrong.
both right.
And you're both wrong.
Because we can, time and again, my perception is this, and that's how I speak with this perception. She comes with her perception, speaking something else, and I go like, what's wrong with her?
Yes.
Well, because her perception is different. So in marriage,
Yes.
a clear perception, one-sided perception doesn't
Does not
exist.
exist.
That's
Right.
So you got to understand that.
Right.
Yes.
It's like the car went by, it was a red car.
Yeah.
No, it was a black car.
Yeah.
No, it was a red car.
No. It was a red car. No, it
No,
was
it
a
was-
Volvo.
Oh, yeah.
It was a Volvo.
You know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
how do we resolve this? You know, so what you're saying
Number
is,
one,
it doesn't
understand
matter.
you cannot be right all the time. Number
That's
2,
right.
stop controlling your spouse.
Yeah.
Or trying to.
No
or
one
trying to.
can survive a controlling spouse.
That's right.
And no one thrives under pressure or under
Control.
Controlled situations.
Yeah.
So you need to stop controlling
Yeah.
your spouse.
And it's really dangerous too, right? Because it's such a rejection of your spouse and who
course.
they are. So every time you try to control your spouse, you're basically saying something is
You're not enough.
seriously wrong with you.
Well,
You're not
I
enough.
cannot accept you the
I
way you are.
cannot accept you the way you
See?
are.
And on top of that, you're saying, and I am more than you.
That's right.
Yes.
I'm better than you.
I know better.
Yeah.
You're here and I'm here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So those are steps that you need to start realizing. Yes, awareness of
Self-awareness.
why is it that this is so important to me? And the question is, what emotions, what about me, what things in my life this issue is really addressing, and then discover the issue, and then work on yourself before you try to work on your wife. I will always say, work and change yourself before you try to work and change somebody else.
And if you can't change yourself because you don't have the capacity to do so, go to a professional
go
who
to-
can help you.
That's right.
You know, the truth of the matter is we do this every day. You know, I'm not a mechanic. Something
There you
goes
go.
wrong with my
There you
car.
go.
I don't try to fix it because I'm
right.
going to make it worse.
There you go.
Okay, I take it to the technician
That's right.
who's been
That-
trained to deal with
That's
it.
right.
The value of having a community around you, somebody that you can go to and say, listen, we have an impasse. Can you help us out?
Yes.
Yeah.
Listen to wisdom.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Word of God says that in multitude of advice, there's wisdom,
wisdom.
right?
That's right.
Yes.
So we need to make sure that there's always people around us,
Yes.
wise individuals, spiritual individuals
Yeah.
that are willing to offer help. Because couples need help.
Absolutely.
This is a schooling. This is a schooling. This is a training, and we cannot do everything by ourselves.
That's right.
We need other individuals.
That's why in the book of 1 Corinthians, Paul speaks about
right.
the gifts of the
Amen.
Spirit.
Amen.
One Spirit, many gifts.
Many gifts.
And among those gifts, the gifts of helps,
That's right.
counseling,
That's right.
therapy.
That's
you know,
right.
go to someone.
That's
God has provided these gifts in the
Amen.
body of Christ for the upbuilding of the body of Christ.
So don't pretend to survive the marital experience alone.
No.
Seek for help.
That's
Talk
correct.
to people. You have friends.
That's
Everybody
correct.
has friends.
That's correct.
And
Well-
look for a good, sound, wise individual that help you and can give you support.
Yeah, and don't remain silent, right? So
Yes.
that's what I hear you saying.
yes.
Don't stay in this
Stuck.
pain and stuck, right? Share it with someone that's
well-
trusted, that you can
Yes,
trust
yes.
to help you.
A
through
well-known
it.
psychologist said one time, a relationship takes a voice. But no, for a relationship to exist, a voice needs to be heard. And for a voice to be heard, a relationship needs to take place. So we need to speak. We
Yeah.
need to talk.
Yeah.
If you don't, you're going to be resentful. If you become resentful, basically you're going to withdraw, or you're going to become vindictive. And we did all those. We walked through
All of
those,
the above.
and all of the above.
And your body is going to break
complete-
down.
Yeah.
And we did that too, didn't we, honey?
The body keeps
Especially-
the
He
score.
had 6 surgeries 1 year.
Ooh.
Yes, ma'am. So your
Well, then
body
Carolann
will.
1, Carolann 2,
Carolann 3, Carolann. Your bodies will speak up.
But you know what? We've got to run to a break, but I want to come back and talk about this. Was it Carolann or was it your
Oh.
Thank you.
ability
Thank you
to
so much.
manage
Hello.
Facing me with my reality.
yourself, right? So we're going to have to take a break. When we return, we will talk more with Dr. César and Carolann de León about the importance of self-knowledge and the presence of conditions in marriage that create conflicts. Stay with us. We're back on Real Family Talk with authors and directors of family ministries for the North American Division of Seventh-day Adventists, Dr. César and Carolann de León. We're discussing overcoming relationship impasses and building healthy marriage foundations.
Right. So, in your book, you speak about Carolann's lack of punctuality, and you speak about you being trained, being raised in a family where being on time, being precise was very important. So, you're talking about two divergent realities.
Two worlds.
Yeah.
How did this add or contribute to your relationship impasses?
It created a tremendous sense of stress.
Was it I would say it was foundational to
That-
our impasses.
I believe that was the foundation, and that's how we began our marital relationship. She likes to say that our first time that we went to the bank, I told Carolann, be here at certain hour. It was say 2:00 in the afternoon, and she wouldn't show up. She wouldn't show up, and the banker, the people they were going to be changing and putting our bank accounts into one account, was waiting for her. We were waiting for her. And she showed up maybe 45 minutes later, 15 minutes later, and she was just nonchalantly walking inside the bank, just so happy and joyful,
Clueless.
Clueless. And I go, where have you been? She goes, well, I was shopping, but I'm here. I go, you're here, but you're 45 minutes late. She goes, oh, am I? And then she goes, oh, I didn't pay attention. Because I noticed and I realized right there that this is a week after we came back from our honeymoon, I realized that Carolann's ability to
Tell
check
time.
to look at my watch.
Yeah.
Look at the watch.
Is
Was not.
It's not there.
Yeah.
No.
For Carolann, this is an ornament.
I guess.
Yeah.
Because I
Doesn't
forget
work.
to look
It doesn't
at it.
really give her no information.
Time is socially constructed, right? For
Yes,
us. Yeah.
completely. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I was like, oh my goodness, what did I get myself into? Right? That was the very first moment where I figured this is going to be heavy.
And the reality is that most marriages are there. It may not be about punctuality, but it's about something where you are the opposite
There you
of
go.
your spouse. I often say that Christian couples, one of their main issue is time.
Yes.
One wants to get to church on time, and the other one simply cannot.
Yeah.
It's not that they don't want to.
Right.
They just don't have the capacity to. They cannot. It's whatever it is.
Yeah.
But for the person who is a stickler for time, did that create like great shame and embarrassment for you as well? Like, do you feel like, what is it that you
Good question.
experience?
For me, was lack of respect for something that I was expecting and that I had asked, and that became a theme in one of our impasses.
You felt disrespected.
Because I would ask for something and it wouldn't be given to me. Bring me this from the store. She would forget to bring it.
The one item he asked
please
for.
call somebody because I let that person know that I will be late, whatever. She wouldn't call.
I would forget.
So anything that I would ask, she wouldn't do. So I felt disrespected
personally.
left and
Yes.
right. And that started killing my love for Carolann. Totally, because I go, how can she say she loves me if she doesn't listen? Because for me, if she would tell me, don't come home without milk, I would rather die than arrive home without the milk.
Your brain
I
will-
because
will
that's my brain, right?
capture it and do
so
it.
that's how I wanted to Carolann to
Respond.
perform everything how I
wanted
did
her to be
life.
you.
I wanted her to do life.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be possible. That was impossible. So that was killing me. That was killing me. Until I understood that the ADHD was a factor, and I started thinking and realizing that Carolann's way of functioning was completely different
Different than
from
yours.
mine.
Yeah.
And it was not good or bad.
Exactly.
It was different.
It was different. It was reality.
Yes.
And every marriage needs to face the realities and
Yes.
accept the realities
Yes.
and work with the realities.
Yes.
Yes.
Because as you work with the reality in grace, in love, in patience, with the fruit of the Holy Spirit, things
Mercy.
start changing.
Yes.
By the way, it's valid to say that after going to a therapist who, after 5 minutes of interviewing us, immediately said, "You're ADD, and I know it because I am too, and I know you are." And she gave me a little test, and sure enough, I was. But what I was going to say, I just forgot because I'm ADD. I had a point to make.
But you went to a therapist.
Yes.
What
And
happened afterwards with our relationship?
Oh, I needed to.
That's where you were
this
going.
is where I was going. Is the more grace my husband gave me, the more clarity my scattered brain was able to come together and
Relax.
function and relax and function at levels I didn't know were possible.
right, right. And I because we're all therapists here. So what's coming out also is the stress that's created when the person who's really structured,
Perfectionism,
it's a perfectionism. And you put that on the other person, and they become even more
Worse.
scattered.
I was much worse.
Because the cortisol levels are high,
Hello.
the stress is high, and now you can't remember anything.
Hello.
Carolann's brain.
I crashed 3 cars within the first 3 years of our marriage.
3 months.
First 3 months.
Wow.
3 years.
I'm
3
kidding.
months.
Well,
Well, it might have been
maybe.
months. I don't
Maybe 3
remember.
months,
All I know it
whatever.
was my
But-
brain was so scattered under the stress.
Yeah.
That I can't please this man who has his rules and bar that's so high. I will never reach it. I was hopeless. Anyway, so but it's amazing the factor of grace when you
I love the
understood
grace.
when you
Yeah.
understood and I felt you had increased compassion, mercy, grace with me.
Sounds prayer.
It was
Sounds like prayer.
it was medicine
Yeah.
for my brain,
Yeah.
for my heart,
Less cortisol
and
in the
for our
system.
relationship.
Yeah.
A lot less cortisol.
A lot less
Her
cortisol.
brain, she comes from a war zone situation on ethos, because in your home there was always some fighting.
Discord,
So
always.
all the cortisol that she received in her brain, that was injected into her brain, is what made the ADHD
Worse.
situation
Worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I took that element from the marital
Oh,
relationship,
mercy.
Carolann began
Mercy.
to function better,
Of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
as if she was under medication.
Yes.
Right.
So,
With no side
so the
effects.
spirit presence can be medication.
Well, think
in
about
many
it.
ways.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is biblical.
Yeah.
You know,
It is
it's
biblical.
right there in the
It
book of
is.
Ephesians,
It
chapter
is.
5, in verse 25. Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and
Gave
gave.
himself.
Yeah.
And I'll add, his very imperfect.
And John says that
malfunctioning
love
bride.
is able to forgive a lot of sins.
multitude.
I say love is is able to heal
Yes.
a lot of
Oh,
sicknesses.
sin.
And then Paul goes back in
well,
Galatians 5.
And tells us
the
what
fruit
real
of the
love
Spirit.
is.
There you go.
Well, in
What is-
1 Corinthians
no,
13.
I know, but
Yes.
then it's also the
Yes.
fruit of the Spirit.
Yes.
Love, joy,
Peace,
peace, patience, kindness, gentleness.
gentleness.
That's love.
Yes.
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 So impasses
Yeah.
are best dealt with when you are willing to listen to the other person's perspective.
Yeah.
Number one, that perspective is going to be injected with the person's emotional makeup map. You need to know that map. You want to
Yes.
understand your
That's right.
spouse?
Yes.
That's right.
Get to know the emotional map of your spouse, and that will give you a lot of clues as to why or why she's saying or he's saying what he's saying, and what exactly he or she means.
César and Carolann, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Thank you so
for coming
much.
by here and gifting us and our audience. Here's what we know. In Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 1 and 2, it says, I beseech you to walk worthy of the calling with which you were called, with all lowliness and gentleness, with long-suffering, bearing with one another in love. We encourage you to seek healing in your relationships, extend grace to one another, and ask God to fill you with His love and His power so that you can gift each other with the gift of peace.
Thank you for watching Real Family Talk. Join us again when we'll share more about strengthening families and inspiring hope. See you next time.